Okay, so we're going to talk about 7.2. We're going to actually start multiplying polynomials. Recall that a polynomial is when you have more than one term. So a monomial would be like 3x squared. A polynomial would be like 3x squared plus 2. So learning targets today will be multiplying binomials using the FOIL method and multiplying binomials and trinomials. Essential question is, how do we do this? So the product, remember that product is another fancy word for multiply, right here. Means multiply. Is always, of two polynomials, is always going to be another polynomial. So we can use distributive property. There's several different ways of doing this, and I'm going to show you all the ways, but the one that I find students usually like the most is the box method, because the box method is almost foolproof when it comes to making mistakes. It's really difficult to do. So using the horizontal method. So if you're using the horizontal method, remember that the horizontal method is x plus 2 and x plus 5. You're going to take the x and you're going to distribute it to both of those things. So x times x plus x times 5 plus 2 times x and 2 times 5. So you can see where I pulled the numbers from, which isn't bad, but it's also kind of tedious and a lot of work and very easy to make a mistake. So you end up with x squared, because x times x is x squared, plus your 5x, plus your 2x, plus your 10. Add these common terms together, usually they're in the middle like this, and you get x squared plus 7x plus 10. Now, recall when you're doing vertical multiplication that it's the same as doing, for example, 1, 2, 3 times 1, 2. Okay, this is vertical. So 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2. Leave a blank spot. A lot of times you put a 0 here. And then 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 1 is 1. And everything is in the right place. You got your ones, your tens, your hundreds, your thousands, and then you get 6, 7, 4, and 1 when you add these together. Okay, you can do that with binomials. So basically what you're going to do here is you're going to have x plus 3 times x minus 4. So remember, you're multiplying these. So it's like you're putting a little multiplication symbol here, not an x, a little multiplication symbol. So in the first one, you're just going to distribute the negative 4. So negative 4 times 3 is obviously negative 12, and negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Again, you would leave a space here. And then you would do x times 3, which is 3x, and x times x, which is x squared. And then you just go straight down, minus 12, minus, x, and x squared. So again, really easy to make a mistake doing something like this. You have these two types of problems, and you've learned different ways of multiplying, but that's not necessarily the easiest way. So, box method. The box method is one of those methods that's almost foolproof. It's similar to the way some people learn to multiply with using a lattice method or a box method in the past. You just take your first term, include your signs, please, and your second term. And the reason I say to include that is because if it was a negative, I wouldn't remember to multiply by a negative if I did not do that. So 2x times x is 2x squared. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And 5 times 2x is 10x. And negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. And then you just combine your like terms. And most of the time, these like terms will be on that diagonal. So you end up with 2x squared plus 7x. Remember, you're combining these by adding, and then minus 15. So on this one, let's try this again. You have x minus 5. Again, include your signs, please. 2x minus 1. So this is 2x squared minus 10x minus x and negative, negative, positive 5. So to combine your like terms, again, usually they're on the diagonal. Look for them. And you get 2x squared minus 11x plus 5. And you're good to go. Now, another way to do this is called the FOIL method. The FOIL method is a little old-fashioned these days because there's so many other ways to be able to do this. But for us old school time people, back in my day, we used to do the FOIL method. And it just means the first terms, the outer terms, the inner terms, and the last terms. So you're doing your first two terms here, your outer terms, the 2 on the end, inner terms, your 2 in the middle, and your last terms, the 2 on the end and the inside. So when you do the FOIL, it can look like a little picture. So you have x minus 3, x minus 6, and you can do a little picture. And with that little picture, to me, it looks like a little face, little hair, little ears. Here's your eyes, your smile, and your chin. And if you did your little smiley thing, you're good to go. So x times x is x squared minus 3x minus 6x plus 18. Combine those like terms, and you get x squared minus 9x plus 18. So it's another way of doing this, a different way, and everybody's going to find their favorite. So 2x plus 1, 3x minus 5. Again, make yourself a little face, cross them over in the center, pop them in the little smile, put in your chin, and you're good to go. So 2x times 3x is 6x squared plus 3x minus 10x and minus 5. Combine those like terms to get 6x squared minus 7x minus 5. And you are done. You have multiplied a binomial by a binomial. Now, when you have a trinomial, it's the same process. It's just a little different because you have an extra term in there. So if you have that, you can notice there's a couple ways you can do this. You can do this horizontally or vertically, it doesn't matter. But you have x plus 5 and x squared minus 3x minus 2. Notice again, I'm including the signs. Make sure you do that. So you have x cubed, 5x squared, negative 3x squared, negative 15x, negative 2x, and negative 10. Notice again that where you're combining your like terms are on a diagonal, but also notice this time you have more than one. So you start up here when you're writing this in standard form from biggest exponent to smallest exponent, x cubed, and then you have 2x, right? Because you got 5x minus 3x, so x squared. So you have minus or plus 2x squared. Negative 15 and negative 2 makes negative 17, x minus 10. And you have just multiplied a trinomial and a binomial. And like I said before, you can do this either way. It doesn't matter. Just notice your diagonals when we get done will be in a different direction. So minus 2x squared plus 6x, and then minus 4x squared, and then 8x, and minus 24. So notice this is where your diagonals are. So you have x squared minus 6x plus 14x minus 24. Okay, I'm going to skip that. And I'm going to skip some more here because I'm at 10 minutes and my length of time that I can do these is only 15. I will have the answers for you though at the end so that you can at least see the answers to these 3 problems that you're going to try because I already have them completed on another sheet. So let's go down to this word problem real quick. The football field is rectangular and you can actually see, if I zoom this out slightly and change my light, you can actually see that this football field is 10x plus 10 and 4x plus 20. So write a polynomial that represents the area of the football field. Remember that area is equal to length times width. So really all you got to do is multiply these two things. So you're going to do 10x plus 10 and 4x plus 20. Create yourself a little box. Just because one wasn't given to you doesn't mean you can't use it. So you have 40x squared plus 40x plus 200x plus 200. So you end up with 40x squared plus 240x plus 200. And that represents the area of this football field. So if I wanted to actually use that information, if I knew that the area of the football field, find the area if the width is 160, well, the width is 4x plus 20, right? We know that. So 4x plus 20, just look at the picture. This is your length, this is your width. So length, width. And if that equals 160, then what is the area? Well, I just need to solve for x real quick, plug it back into here, and I can find the area. So subtract your 20 and divide by the 4 so that you can get x equal to 35. Once you have that information, you can use that information to find the football field area if the width is 160. So you just plug this in, 40 times 35 squared plus 240 times 35 plus 200. And when you get done with all that, it's going to equal 57,600 feet squared. So last thing, I told you I would give you those answers of those other 3. So I'm about to do that. But please try these problems ahead of time so that you can actually make sure that you've attempted work before you actually just get the answers. See if you have the concept. So the answer to the one at the top right is, oops, I didn't finish it, is going to be x cubed minus plus 3x. You notice that these cancel completely, minus 20. So that was your answer to the one on the top right. And then the other 2, here's your answers. I'll leave them up here for a second so you can view them, or you can pause the video. So hopefully you guys have an understanding of how to multiply polynomials. So binomials with binomials, binomials with trinomials. You could even do trinomials with trinomials. You could pretty much multiply anything you needed to at this point. I suggest the box method. It is probably your best way of getting these done. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.